Welcome to Us versus Movies. I'm your host, Dustin, joined today by Mr. Kevin Beckham.
Hello.
He says,
Hello?
doesn't want to be here. He's just like, hello. What happened? Was this a podcast?
Fuck yeah!
Today we are talking about Gretel and Hansel.
Gretel and Hansel.
It's a horror fantasy rated PG-13. It's an hour and 27 minutes, so watch us go an easy 2 hours and 15 minutes talking about it.
Ooh.
It had a budget of $5 million and it made $21 million. So,
nice. Slam dunk, right?
Yeah. Directed by one Oz Perkins. Who might he be, Kevin?
He's related to the Anthony. That's his old man. He was in a movie called Psycho. The original one, not that weird one that the other guy did from the Swingers movie.
A fucking shot-by-shot remake where they're just like, add a zipper sound. That's him beating his meat. He kills him because he's ashamed of his masturbation.
Yeah.
No, I've added to the movie. And everyone's like, boo! No, you have not.
You've ruined a classic again, Hollywood.
Norman Bates, rolling in his grave.
Norman Bates don't masturbate. If he did, I didn't want to know about it.
Norman Bates don't masturbate. He always feels great.
Wait till you see the television show coming up in a couple of years. Fuck, it sucks.
You were like, who's this kid? He can fuck off. That's what he can do.
It's called acting, you twat.
Yeah, I think he's the good doctor now. He's not good. He's like, watch me make fun of autism. It's like, oh, as a doctor? Oh.
With his acting? Boom.
Yeah. Stars Sophia Lillis.
I would say Lillis.
Lillis, that's probably more accurate. Yeah. As Gretel.
Gretel. It means pearl, dude, in German.
All right, yeah, great. All right, cool. Thank you, guy who knows everything about Hansel and Gretel / Gretel and Hansel. Some kid that's probably never been in anything as Hansel, and then
his name's Sam Leakley.
Who cares? Alice Cridge as the witch. You might know her as the fucking Borg Queen.
Yeah.
From Star Trek, First Contact.
Nemesis?
Other shit, and Nemesis. Well, I mean, she was in the first one was Borg Queen, or it was First Contact. And phenomenal actress. And then one Jessica. Oops, nope, that was Sam's profile. I just clicked on. I don't know how that fucking happened. Jessica Gao, who you might know from Kevin's Wet Dreams.
Yeah,
no, I'm just joking. She's
from. No, you would.
Well,
if I spoke about them again.
And then the TV show Dracula, which I vaguely remember her from because that show was not good. And then The Crown, which I have not watched, but
people love that shit.
Yeah, it runs in my house, unfortunately. And I think that's pretty much it of notable, worth mentioning fucking people. You know, there's other people, but that's kind of those are your big four. Yeah, minus the kid, Sammy. What else? What else has Sammy been in?
That's his first movie.
Oh, well then fuck him. And then Sophia, you might know her from It. That's a popular one.
The remake.
The remake. Yeah, the remake. Chapter 1 and Chapter 2. And then I Am Not Okay With This is what she just recently was in. So that's what I recognize her from. And if you go back all the way to the early 2019 release of Nancy Drew, and you'll be like,
oh, wait, is that the Nancy Drew where she's under the stairs or something?
Yeah, the hidden staircase.
Yeah,
and you're like, wow, when was that movie filmed? Because you look 12 in that, and like now you're like
13.
Yeah, she looks adult-ish, I guess.
Yeah.
So, Gretel and Hansel, not to be confused with all the other Hansel and Gretels, which, Jesus criminy, there are just like a billion if you start looking for them. And they're all horror, thriller stuff.
It's that Brothers Grimm stuff, right? So it's pretty much free use out there. You can.
This is so old, I can take it. Make it my own.
And it has creepy undertones to it. And so everyone just feasts off these things. And there was even a ABC, NBC, don't quote me, I don't watch the television, show about them just pickpocketing these ideas left, right, and center. And
are you referring to NBC's on Friday nights Grimm?
Yeah, like talk about abuse.
Abuse is being forced to watch that shit with your loved ones
who you no longer love after said show.
Yeah. Let's just say the first scene you're like, okay, I see what you're doing. And the second scene is like, oh, you've given the fuck up. What the fuck is going on?
But you won't stop.
Yeah. And then your spouse will not stop watching it until the bitter fucking end where nothing makes sense. You're just like, what's happening? Who are these people? How is this a show anymore?
Mm-mm.
And they're just like, spin-off coming in 2021. I was like, no, please don't. So yeah, Brothers Grimm, it's been picked at.
From what I understand, hence the title, the name reversal.
Yeah.
So Hansel and Gretel, you don't have to sift through shit upon shit. You go Gretel and Hansel, cha-ching. This one should jump to the forefront of your searches.
Yeah. So, I mean, with the new Google algorithm, it comes up first anyways, because it knows this is the one that came out most recently.
It knows, and that's all you care about. You want it now. Yeah. When you want it when, you want it now, and you want it piping hot.
So, horror thriller, I think, describes it pretty well. I would say it's more...
I'll take it.
It leans heavier into the thriller, I would say.
Yeah, it has a little. It has more of a little spooky. I wouldn't say full blown horror. You know what I mean? And any horror that's PG-13, it's got kid gloves on. It's gonna be. You're gonna see some.
It's
possible. Yeah, you'll see some maybe adult / imagery. It might get a little heavy-handed on some scenes, but you're not gonna see just mounds of gore or anything or hyper violence.
So we start off.
No. I need to touch on something.
Oh, okay. I should have just known. I should have been like, what do you want to touch on, Kevin?
From the jump, when I saw Orion pictures, I was blown the fuck away. Number one, I didn't know they were still around. Number two, if this came out in the 80s or 90s and a movie kicked off with the Orion pictures, I usually lost my shit. I was very excited. I knew it was going to be something I was probably into.
I'm gonna agree. I knew that they had kind of somewhat brought it. Like I heard that they had like kind of bought the name essentially because their movies have all been sold off and they don't have the rights to anything. But I knew someone had bought the name, and I was like, oh, it's MGM, which kind of only exists as a production house
in the wind.
It's like, remember when we were a major studio? Yeah, we don't either, because God,
now we're kind of like Lionsgate television. Where we got nothing.
Yeah, no, Lionsgate has more.
Now
going on. Yeah, I mean they did until streaming destroyed everything. But I was kind of like, oh damn, and it like looked old too. Like they were just like, nah, just fucking use the '80s one. We're fucking good. They'll be excited.
Got my attention from the jump. I got very excited. That's the equivalent of dropping like the Canon Films logo in front of me. I'm like, I'm fucking watching this. There's about a 99% chance I'm gonna love whatever happens after this fucking title drops. Yep. That was my childhood, is just watching these crazy over the moon, over no budget action, just crazy shit movies, and I just love them.
And clearly they were just horribly mismanaged because I don't think you'll find someone of our age or generation that grew up on Orion films that would be like, oh no, I totally stopped watching them. They just really fell off in quality. No, it was just like one day they were gone. You were like, where the fuck are you? Where are you?
They were just that friend that never called you back ever again.
Oh, I'm just moving down the street to Alaska. And you're just like, that seems far. All right, bye. And you're just like, no.
And Alaska was really just a crack house.
Really just
they died there.
That's where they died with a needle in their arm.
But no one knew because crack house.
I mean, child services knew eventually, but...
How old are they in this scenario? Or child services?
Well, I figure if it's a friend, well, I was assuming like we were still in the childhood friend area since.
No, they just kind of grew apart, man. You're just like, I'll see you around, man. I'll see you next time, Orion Pictures. And they were like, I'll see you next time. And then we walked away, never saw each other next time until today.
Until today. With Gretel and Hansel.
So yeah, it kicks off with some narration. And I kept thinking to myself, I was like, are you going to build the world for me? Are you going to hold my hand? You sure you don't want to flash a bunch of shit in front of credits and I got to like pay attention?
Are you sure you don't
Oh,
want some news clipping
yeah.
articles or like, I don't know, an old fashioned like storybook thing going on
Yeah.
here?
And I was like, oh, you didn't do it. And then it's our protagonist narrating unbeknownst to you when you first sit in and you're like, okay, what's happening? It just starts off a baby is ill in this village, and they're just like, "Hey, man, that baby's got it's fucked." And the dad's like, "No, not my baby, not today." They're like, "Hey, man, there's this old enchantress witch over here. She could probably take care of it, remove that sickness, but she's a witch, so she's gonna want something, right?" He's like,
Yeah.
"Fuck it, I'll do it." Right? He shows up, and instantly with this movie, I can't tell you personally, I like the way it looked. There's something about the composition. There's something about the cinematography. It was so refreshing to see someone behind a camera that understood lines, action lines, depths of fields, like layers inside a shot. And it was so conscious of it. And I was just like, I love watching this instantly. Like I could see it. This fucker is putting a camera where your eyes want to go. He just knows. He's framing all these shots, and I'm like, I love looking at this. What? Just please don't suck, movie. Let's go. So like the
Yeah.
first 5-10 minutes, I'm in. I love the baby story of this.
The Prettiest Girl is what
Yeah,
I think it's called. And yeah, and I want to touch on the narration because yeah, a lot of times narration is viewed as like lazy storytelling or
right,
whatever.
right.
Of like, oh, you're cheating the world. No, this is perfect because that narration, that story feeds into the entire overarching story. I didn't find it to be lazy. I found it to be just like the perfect fit for it. And yeah,
Yeah.
the visuals, it's like because yeah, it's not really a horror movie. It's not like oh,
Mm-mm.
tons of gore or whatever. But I did feel on edge like the entire time I was watching it. Like, and
Yeah.
you know the story, the Hansel Gretel, the gingerbread house, the witch, whatever, whatever version you're familiar with.
Right, right.
I
It,
still felt really uneasy because you're just like, okay, well, I know the story. I see what you're all doing. When's the other shoe gonna drop?
right.
And it's like, I'm never gonna let you know until it does. And then you're just like, fuck, you still got me. But yeah, that first composition, because what's great is she's just sitting in a triangle in the middle of like nowhere. And you're just
Yeah.
like, why is she sitting in a
It's
giant triangle? I'm curious. I want to know. I want to know more now and forever.
Yeah, there's such like rich visuals inside this with like the lighting and color. I won't bring it up a million times as we go, but for me personally, like I said, it just hit so hard because there's an art here, there's a craft here. He's framing all these moments to guide your eye to kind of present these images where he doesn't have to have some asshole talking to go, hey, this is what you're seeing. This is what's like, dude, I can see it. I can digest this. I can totally absorb. And all your visuals that you're presenting is doing the heavy lifting of the story. There's not characters that are just randomly talking fucking every scene. It's like, shut the fuck up. I want to enjoy what I'm seeing. Like, it's so conscious of that where I could see most people might be bored by it, or if they're not like trained or comfortable looking at those things, they just won't appreciate it or get it. It's not like, oh, here's a Picasso, tell me how you appreciate it and where it's going, what the story, what. It's like I get it. Like it's people might just be like, this is boring. Why are they showing me this tree? Like,
I don't know. I don't know if anyone really find that's not really boring because, like I said, there's this and I think it stems a lot from the visuals. There's this element of what's gonna happen next, like the whole time.
no,
Like if people
yeah,
are saying this boring, I don't know. I mean, they might just be mentally deficient
I don't
or
I just
something
I
at
think
life. I don't
the
know.
pacing and just to kind of like before we just super dive into the story, because it is like you said, it's a similar story and you kind of know how it goes. It's the way this one was presented, like I can't say how much I loved it enough to be like, wow, I love what you're doing. I love like there's a scene where Hansel and Gretel, and it's just Gretel trying to tell her mom like, "Hey, this is what I want to do," and all this stuff, and the mom is like kind of gone insane, losing her mind, kind of giving up on life, and they're sitting at the same fucking table, and you don't even realize the way it's shot. It's blocked so perfectly, where they're having this conversation, all the energy from each character is going perfectly in the perfect direction, and then he pulls out, and I'm like, whoa, they're at the same table. Like I didn't even grasp it. The room felt so big, everything just felt larger than it was, and the way it was lit, I was just like, wow, like I'm fucking paying attention to everything. This is, I don't know, it just hit me really good. I was just like so enthralled with it. I just think it's just so satisfying to look at.
I definitely agree.
And I think, like you said, the narration, it's not forgotten. They kind of lean on the narration because it's kind of Gretel's story. Like it's her, because she's not like the traditional where they're both too little. Like Gretel is purposely older to kind of, it's this burden of her brother. You know, she didn't ask for him. She's just responsible for him, and she doesn't get
Well,
to be selfish, and it kind of puts her in these situations. You know, there's kind of reason.
yeah. Well, let's get into it. So
Okay.
we finished the girl's story. So the witch cures the baby, but puts something inside. That's the payment. She gives her a second sight, and so the girl can see the future essentially, and starts, telling the village what their future is. None of them likes what they hear because it's all like, yeah, you're gonna fucking die horribly and shit.
Yeah, she's not giving you the good side. She's giving you the fucking harsh reality, and they're kind of like, I'm gonna go insane now.
Yeah. And then she starts using her own powers to just kind of make some of the shit come true if it's looking like it's not. So she even takes out her father in a very like hardcore. I wish they had shown that, but at the same time, it's kind of like, man, how do they show that where it's not
No,
like
I love that.
disappointing?
So he's like, the father's like working at he's just, what is he doing?
He's
He's
a blacksmith. Yeah.
yes, thank you. He's blacksmith, and he's just, I don't know if he's making a spike or something. He's just, it's really long, and he's got a tip all hot, and then he just kind of lays the hammer down. She walks by in the distance, looks inside his little room, keeps walking, and he just like almost goes into like this trance, takes that metal spike that's just molting hot and just puts it in his mouth, and they cut away. That's all I needed to see. And I was like, that's fucking brilliant. I love that. Like, is that what I'm in for the rest of this movie is what I start thinking.
Yeah. Which I think was pretty accurate. And so
Yeah.
the mother and the rest of the village are like, okay, we're gonna give her back to the darkness because we don't want this shit anymore. And so they
Bad
just go,
juju.
yeah, they go drop her off in the woods. We see the witch that granted her powers kind of picks her up along the way, and they're off on their journey. And then you see this kind of like whisper of come join me, and basically she summons other children. And
Yeah, because the girl, like, it's almost like she can push the thoughts in on them, and they'll just do what she says. She can convince them. I
yeah,
don't know,
she's
almost
like
like she's like a
a
telepath in a way.
well, like a Pied Piper of children.
Yeah, yeah, and the witch is super cool looking. She has like this almost hood stocking over her head with just a hat, so you never really see her face. I thought it was like super cool, real death metal looking. I was like, all right, this is cool.
Yeah.
This just, and it's subtle too. It's not just like, hey, look at
Yeah,
me.
it's not over the top. Like her hands are kind of like
They had
uh
the black and the long nails, like her palms are
well,
black.
not that one. Yeah, well, yeah, she had like this like long kind of like pudgy fingers with like
Mhm.
big ass fucking nails. Like it was almost her hands are almost monstrous with the rest of her like seemingly normal thin petite body. So it was like,
That's where all
oh.
the magic is. Those hands. That's where the evil's at.
And so then we snap out of this story that Gretel is telling, and we meet Gretel, and she's getting cleaned up. She's like in the woods, and she one of many times where she kind of like hears something that we're not really privy to, and she just like kind of hears something and like looks around, and then she's just like, all right, I got to get the fuck out of this area. And she starts talking about her brother, and she's like, I can't remember a time when he hasn't been around me. Like she's on her way to like a job interview basically, and he's like following her. He's just like, hey,
Hmm.
I'm coming with, you know.
He's really excited for her. He's like, she's going to basically be a housekeeper to
Yeah.
some like fucking scumbag, like who owns a couple of fucking little bit of more well off than most people that she's ever interacted with.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, baby, you'll get some crumb cake. There'll be crumb cake in your future. He's so excited that they could actually have a life that doesn't possibly suck ass. And
Yeah.
maybe they could eat like more than twice a week. And,
Well, and just, it shows that at the time, like, we're just like, if I want fucking crumb cake, I'll just go to the store, I'll get crumb cake.
no, they're
Just
clearly
like,
in poverty. Like,
yeah,
they're not.
well, and it was just like, oh my God, have you heard about crumb cake? Oh, it's just like the food of dreams because they've never seen it. They don't know what it tastes like.
Of course, it's a
like,
massive,
oh,
massive treat. Like to get anything like that, it's like once every 5 years they probably got something that didn't taste like horse ass and mud.
Yeah. So I mean, this magical crumb cake is just like the pinnacle of food dreams. And he's like, "What's on your lips?" And I liked the boy in that he was annoying like a child is sometimes. He
doesn't know anything.
He doesn't know anything. He's asking fucking questions where you're just like, shut the fuck up. And she kind of sometimes has this answer like, fuck, you want me to explain the whole world to you right now? Like,
yeah,
be quiet,
That's her. I'm gonna fucking haul off on you.
Yeah. I mean, she never quite gets there, but
no.
She kind of does want to just be like, backhand, motherfucker.
Well, because he's inquisitive. He's not a bratty little brother. He's just kind of like, well, why are you putting that on? She's like, well, I'm trying to look a little nice because I got an interview, trying to put some color on my lips. It's kind of like, because to her, like, Gretel's kind of in that like pre-teeny, I'll be a woman soon, real Chris Isaacs right now, and she's finding her way, and then that's kind of where the whispers are coming from, and she's hearing things. It's kind of just like, maybe she's got the force, I assume, for layman's sake. She goes into the interview, real scumbag, real like,
oh yeah,
real just like. I'm surprised they just didn't give him like a piece of chicken to eat so he could smack nasty food.
Oh God, that would have.
You know what I mean? Just zoom into his mouth and he just slurps something. Like he's a real fucking gross piece of shit. And he's like, she tries to kind of like put an opinion out there, and he's just like,
well, he kind of opens the door, and she's like, oh, cool, I get to like talk like an adult, and he's just like, yeah, you'd be best to like never talk like that again.
Yeah, he's like, check those words coming out of your mouth, girl.
Oh yeah, does he says like minimize the words.
Yeah, exactly. He says something real snarky, and he's basically just like, are you still a virgin? And she's like, fuck this, I'm out of here.
Yeah, and then that's when we see her talking to the mom, and the mom's like, couldn't you have just been fucking nice and just for fucking 5 seconds, like,
just go with it, you're our meal ticket, please.
Well, not even that. I think because the way I took it from this could just be me, but the way I took it from how her brother was talking and how the mom's talking, she was supposed to go live there, because I mean that's typical at the time. You were a housekeeper, and so she was already kind of in a way prepared to say goodbye to her family and everything. But then he was more of like, you're gonna be like a prostitute here, and she was just like, oh, I don't think so, I'm out. And so the mom was just kind of like, I wasn't banking on you coming back. You were supposed.
No, that's totally what it was. It was like she was their only hope. So if maybe she had a job where she's earning a fucking couple of shillings a week or something, they would have something. And the brothers.
No, that's the thing is back then, she wouldn't have. It was more of she was releasing Gretel into adulthood, and that way the mom could just worry about herself and the boy,
I think the mom had a lot on her mind, like functioning.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, I did not get the impression that Gretel was supposed to go and take care of the family, just that Gretel was supposed to go be out of the house, essentially, like move on without them. And that's why she was like, if I ever get crumb cake, I'll come back and give you some, because it was just, she did not really plan on seeing them again. But then, change of plans. I'm not going to be a prostitute. Fuck that shit.
Oh, yeah. He just wanted to, he was a fucking pervo.
Yeah. And so then this is the scene with the mom where the mom, it's like they're having two different conversations, and Gretel's just is so used to her mom being this way And she just keeps going. She's like unfazed. But as an audience, you're just like, why are all her answers crazy? Like
No,
super fucking crazy.
that's what I'm saying. Like, that's kind of why I love the way it was shot, because it's like they're not sharing that conversation. One's talking like this and one's trying to motivate like this. And that's why I like though they're not visually, I think they're on the screen like once or twice together in that conversation where she like slams her arm and head down kind of.
Yeah.
And because Gretel's trying to say this and the mom's over here on her crazy shit and they don't share. It's like a visual representation of their conversation. That's what I feel like to me. I could be giving it too much credit, but I felt like that was the goal in the way that was framed. And that's why I super dug it. I was just like, man, this is so, in this fucking blue light. I was just like, man, is Gretel blue? Is she's blue inside? Very sad.
And then I think there's a great line here where the mom's like, because she's like, there's no more room for you here, Gretel, which is obviously like, well, how's that possible? I've been living here. And she's just like, well, then why don't you and your brother go dig holes for your graves and dig one for Mama too? And it's just like, oh, damn. And she's just kind of like, and that's where Gretel's kind of like, okay, I can't really ignore the craziness anymore. What the fuck, Mom? And then that's when Mom like takes an axe to the fucking table. And I forget what she said, but you're just like, okay. She's just, all right, we gotta get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, they know Mom is air quotes volatile right now.
Yeah, Mom has lost her shit. She cannot handle the loss of their father, and she cannot handle
she can't handle fucking life.
Yeah, she's just like, I'm fucking done.
Life has choked her the fuck out. She looks haggard. Her head droops when she speaks. And she's just about to bubble over. Like, either you take this fucking axe and fuck off or go dig it, or I'm killing all of you with this axe right now. That's the vibe I got. Party is over. Time to move out and move out.
I will make you dig our graves first because I am still considered like that. Okay?
Yeah, that was a real...
No one buries the poor.
Real metal fucking response from Mom.
Yeah. So now they're out in the world. Hansel is kind of like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. Gretel's like, yeah, we got to go. And he's like, why can't we just go back? I'm sure Mom's fine now. She's like, nah.
Yeah, he can't contemplate. He knows there's something amiss, but he's too young to kind of really register with them.
Yeah. So they walk and they're in the woods. And this is where she's like, oh, yeah, over here. I got like, and she talks about how she has really good eyes. Like she narrates for a moment. And she sees, like, you see her just kind of like, oh, yeah, there's a house up here, from the widow that Dad helped at one time or whatever. And he's like, how can you see it? She's like, I don't need to see it to know that it's there. And then you see what she's looking at, and there's just like witch figures, basically.
Yeah,
like,
the silhouettes.
Just like in the woods watching them, and you're just like, oh.
But it's real subtle. It's real. They almost look like almost like little, like, it's just the silhouettes of them. Like, I don't know if you ever seen like the old people in their yards. They'll put like the little silhouettes of animals as a tree spike. So you kind of like just see it. It's like, almost like garden decoration. They're so subtle, and you're like, what? There's a person there, and then there's a person there, and there's a person there, and they're shot beautifully and framed excellently. Carry on, movie.
And they eventually get to the house, which seems to have multiple just raging fires going on in it, and they're just like, yeah, let's
we live here now.
Go ahead and just go on in. They don't even say like hello. They just find a bed. They lie down in the bed.
That's the rules of the old days, man. I come home and your shit's here, but you're not here. It's my house now.
It's my house now. I don't care who started these fires. Yeah. I'm warm and cozy. They're my fires now. I started them.
That's right, Billy Joel. I'm here to take this fucking place.
And so they're just talking, and then all of a sudden, just like a figure rises up at the side of the bed with them, and you're just like, oh, and Hansel's just like, I peed my pants now.
Yeah, I peed my pants for him. I was like, you're fucked, bro.
Yeah, and I love this because, okay, Gretel is clearly kind of a little more badass than most women, but she's still, it's kind of era accurate. She doesn't just go, oh, I'm going to haul off and hit this guy or whatever. Like, she runs, Hansel runs, the fucking creepy bald guy gets Hansel, and she's just like, oh, what do I do? Because she's never been in this situation. And it's easy
Right.
for all of us to be like, just fucking, haul off and deck
Kick
him.
him
But
in the
she's just
nuts,
like,
sister.
she's like, oh God, like, what the fuck, That thing's gonna kill my brother in front of me.
What was he, man? Was he like a ghoul, like a zombie, or just a sick dude? Like, what do you think that was?
Um, it's hard to say. It's whoever the guy that saves them. I wonder if they labeled him.
He's a huntsman.
Character.
That's what they call him. So
Huntsman.
yeah,
That's not.
he's just a dude. He's in there for like 5 minutes. He snipes this thing like with a bow and arrow. And I was like, it's cool because the bow and arrow goes.
Oh, he's
through
called
his
the
skull.
Hunter. Actually, that was his character name.
Um,
So I would say that was a vampire, and he was a vampire hunter based on what we got going on with the lore.
Okay. I mean, he didn't die like a vampire though.
But that wasn't. It looked silver, the thing that he shot through his head.
Yeah, vampires don't care about. You can't snipe a vampire like that. Like that's why I thought he looked kind of sicker zombie. That's a werewolf. Werewolves fuck with silver.
Oh yeah. Well, no, some vampire lore has silver.
What the fuck, dude? We can't just cherry pick. Like I think.
Well,
you know what?
I think
that guy was. It's a ghoul. We'll call him a ghoul.
Yeah. He was not to be reached by normal vocal channels. He was just kind of like, I'm fucking eating good tonight. Yeah, so they're saved.
I love that though. He fucking pops this dude from across the screen, and you're just like, okay. And the arrow like zooms by fucking Gretel. She's like, yo, motherfucker, like kind of pops to the side, and I was like, he didn't give a fuck. He had to get that kill shot.
And it goes to show that she can see really well because she's able to fucking dodge it. Like
that's the thing. You're like, whoa, is Gretel like tapping into the Matrix right now, bro?
She's like, it's all ones and zeros, man. Woman in a red dress, I'm her.
There's no spoon, man. It's like, is this movie written by Ben and Jerry's? Like, what is this about?
Mr. Smith, have you seen this badass phone? It'll be obsolete and by the sequel. But everyone will want it, and it's just a clip-on case.
And then we're gonna have a 45-minute chase scene on a highway that sucks.
And it's gonna be mostly CG, but for the time it's bad, and now it's worse.
Yeah, actually, looking back at the Matrix, it's Alice in Wonderland, but a waste of fucking time. We should have stopped at the first one.
Yeah, they should have stopped at the first one. Yeah. Made too much money. They were like, pump out a sequel, and then a sequel after that, but filming at the same time. And
I played that video game.
Treat them like it's the same movie.
Let's get Jada Pinkett Smith in here to fucking pump up the box office.
She was like, I have never pumped up the box office, sir. Never.
Did you ever see Final Fantasy VII? It's just like that. Everyone's like, boo, what? The remake?
What?
No, wait, we love that movie.
Wait, are you talking about Final Fantasy The Spirits Within?
No, I don't remember that movie.
They had to save plants. That was the movie, the whole movie. You don't need to watch it.
Spoiler.
Save the plants. Anyway, back to this movie. So yeah, we're with the hunter, and
he's a straight shooter, man. He's a straight shooter.
Yeah, he's just like, hey, this is where you need to go if you want to live. And
here's some rabbit. He feeds the kids. The kids are like, well, it's something for something. Nothing in this world's for free. No one rides for free. What do you want from us? I could fucking cook, turn down a bed, whatever. And then this dude wants to learn how to swing an axe. And the hunter's like, yo, all right, I feel you. Just eat what you want. I'll put you on the right way. I'm going to go do hunter shit. But you know what? That's just my MO, is I put the good vibes out in the world, and good vibes come back to me. Everybody dies. Fuck it. And everybody says, they're like, yeah, man, good vibes. Oh, this hunter kind of changed our perspective of thinking and shit. We're just trying to pick it up what he's putting down.
Well, and it should note that Hansel is like, he's just like, fuck yeah, I'm a little kid, food, I'm hungry, awesome, I'm eating.
Mm-hmm.
And but Gretel, she's like,
don't trust it.
She's like, do you want to eat this? Like, I'll just skip. I don't want you to like give your food to us because I don't want to owe you that big of a debt. I just almost got whored out. I'm not taking any chances about
she's
what
not
you're
stupid.
ask for.
She knows the world's fucked up. She knows the world's dark. She just knows she's got to pay dues somehow, but she's not going to overcommit or jeopardize her safety or her brother's safety.
Yeah, but he's just like Kevin said, he's like, no, I'm just like, this is just a good deed to do a good deed, and he gives him some directions and says, go about that way. And he said, hopefully, he said the boy will be able to learn to swing an axe and be useful that way. He even straight up tells her, he's like, hopefully they'll find something else for you other than what wicked men usually do with women. And I was just like, oh, he knows.
Preach.
So they just they start walking, and we keep seeing silhouettes, and she's starting to hear more whispers and walking and walking.
They get hungry.
They get real hungry. They get pass out hungry. They're like laying down, and there's these, I can only call them like just
Mario Brother mushrooms.
Yeah, Mario Brother mushrooms. That's probably the best way to call them. And so she talks to the mushrooms, and she's like, "Can we eat you?" And then they do, and
the mushrooms are like, "Yeah, man, how your balls? You go to trip them?
You gonna trip balls?" And so they just they get high.
Yeah.
It's like that one song, "I Get High" or something.
What? Like a trillion songs? Yeah.
The
the
one
are
the one
hallucinogenic. What?
Jay and Silent Bob.
I don't know what that is.
So
they get. Great job. Everyone's just like,
like, someone knows. They're like, oh yeah, that song. How's it go? I don't fucking remember.
Someone help this guy out.
Very good.
So in that kind of what this kind of does is, I think it wants to help you question what the kids are taking in. Like, what's their reality? What are they really seeing? Like, it's trying to blur those expectations of, you're like, okay, is this really happening? Is she really hearing voices? Is it the Super Mario mushrooms talking? Like,
yeah.
So
it definitely, it kind of makes you go, oh, okay. Maybe maybe that rabbit was spiked too.
Yeah, and I think it kind of gives you that self-doubt from her as well, because she's just like, hey man, we ain't eating right. I got some stressed out life. We had one shining moment, and that shit lasted for 5 seconds. But I know when I'm crazy, tired, hungry, on Mario Brothers mushrooms, I can smell
going
cake.
Down pipes, jumping on turtles, fucking flying and shit with the little, I did the back running spin thing with the raccoon hat, and I did and now I'm doing the secret, and I'm warping. You know what I mean?
People are like, I don't know what you mean. Has this guy ever played a video game?
Sounds like you just mixed 1 and 3 together, you asshole. Yeah, I did a little bit. Shut up.
Tanuki suit, I wear them. So when those after everything kind of mildly calms down, they continue to wander, and they smell cake. I mean, cake from a mile away. Cake tickles their nostrils, and fucking, I'm pretty sure Hansel would kill his own mother for a slice of cake, any kind, any type, anywhere.
Yeah, he's just so hungry. Well, you missed the part where there's a gate, like a random steel gate that's locked on the path they're going to.
Yeah, but
they have to walk around this gate.
It's not gated anything, so you're kind of like, is this subtext? It's
completely open. Oh yeah, rich with subtext. And it was great because she was on the other side, and Hansel's just like, why is this here though?
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, I think he even says, like, should this be here? Should we like be here with the, like, what the fuck? Is this the right path? Like, I don't, So that was interesting. I really like that scene of just like them coming across the gate, and it's like gating nothing. And so you're just like, all right, well, what is it really gating though? Like, what are they walking around into? Because they're not going through it. And if they had gone through it, would they missed where they ended up?
It's like a buoy. You've gone too far. You've passed this. You ain't coming back. The tide will take you.
Yeah. And so they come upon a very creepily built house, and the cake, and Hansel's just like, I'm fucking going in. They're just like, and she's like, whoa, just like,
dude, it's breaking and entering.
Let me knock first, asshole. Like,
let me scout ahead.
House? Yeah, remember the last house we went into? We were sleeping with a pervert. Okay.
No, I mean, I get it. Like, he's a kid. Number one, he's probably so hungry. He's not thinking straight. He doesn't have the mental fortitude to think straight. He's just like, give me food or I will fucking just shit and die, and that's it. And fucking Gretel's like, bro, pump the brakes. Let's kind of fuck it. He's already in there.
Yeah. Well, yeah. So she knocks, no one answers. They look through she looks through a window, and it's so fucking perfect, like the visual.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's just like, it's totally like a third eye fucking moment when we go to the other side of the window and you see all the writing on it. You're just like, oh man, that's like something's altering the vision here. They're not seeing what's real.
Don't do it, children.
Yeah. And then she's like, Hansel, come here. She fucking lets him go in.
Doesn't she start hearing the voices like from the beginning, like the beautiful child voices around that time?
Yeah, she's been here. Like, she heard them around the gate, I think was the last time we heard them.
Yeah, it's almost like someone turned a radio on. You're like, where's that coming from?
Yeah. But so he goes in, and he's like, thumbs up, look at this shit. Yeah, yeah. He's just grabbing stuff. She's like, the fuck?
Face fucking everything.
Yeah, fucking come back. And then some old woman just like fucking grabs him, and she's just like,
Well, no, she grabs the boy, and then he's like, man, not without my daughter. And Liam Neeson shows up. He's like, I'm a man with the skills to pay the bills. And they're like, what?
Skills to pay the bills. Watch as I say something questionably racist in 2019.
It was just like,
they're like, what? Are people surprised that the old Irish guy is racist?
Can you please leave our movie, sir?
He's like, not until I commute home. Oh, did you see it? Oh, the movie sucked up butt.
Everybody's like, oh, God.
Super bad. Not the movie, super bad, but just like, it was not good. But yeah, so Gretel doesn't go breaking in after her brother. She doesn't know what to do. She starts a fire. She's going to
I'm going to burn that motherfucker out.
Yeah, something. Or she's just going to like, kind of start a fire for the night and hope for the best.
Gretel guerrilla tactics instantly. She's like trying to stuff it in an acorn, make a homemade grenade and shit. I was like, whoa, Gretel, you starting some beef with a witch?
She's like, I start beef with whoever.
Yeah. Step up, you get fucked up.
I saw the Jeremy Renner action version of this.
Everybody's like,
yeah, we got a lot to live up to.
No.
That thing was camp and super heroic.
Everybody's like,
They were like flying around and like making out. They were brother sister. I don't know.
Okay. Now I'm interested.
I didn't really see it. I just saw that there was a lot of dumb shit happening at the end. I was just like, man, there's a lot of wire fu going on, and we're well past that in genre of movies. But yeah, so the witch comes out and she's like, are you the sister I've heard so much about? And this is where the Borg Queen shines, because she is a fucking phenomenal actress.
No, she kills it. Like, I think the character-wise, I guess if you want to use their governments, Sophia, she does a great job. Like, acting chops-wise, she's not carried in every scene, but the Borg Queen is just a great pillar for her to kind of play off of. She's holding everything up, and then like their interactions, I thought, are really pretty darn good at times.
Yeah, it's a great, like, almost like tier of acting, because you have Hansel, who is just he's playing a convincing boy. Like, I can't overstate that, because it's just, yes, you are going to be annoyed with him and some of his decisions, but that's just, it's so believable, because that's what a little boy would do,
Yeah, that's the thing. I don't want to say annoyed, because he's acting age-appropriate.
He's not annoyed in a bad way.
Right. He's acting age-appropriate, and he's not acting like your typical Hollywood child actor, where he's like, "What's up, bro? I'm talking like an adult."
And that's what I mean. Is like, you're gonna be like, "Oh, why is he doing it?" Like, some people might be like, "Oh, why is he doing it?" Like, because that's how a child would actually act. Yeah,
that's why he's doing it. Because stupid fucking kids do stupid fucking shit. I solved the problem. There you go. Yeah.
And then you have Gretel, who's like really, she's a very strong actress, and she's really coming into her own, like, in this movie, which is very mirrored in what the movie's about. And then you have the witch, as she's known. I mean, they don't outright, she doesn't say, "Hey, I'm a witch, by the way," or anything like that. We know that, that.
It's Hulda. I think it's Hulda is her name. But
Did
if
she
you
give
watch,
her name? I don't know. I mean,
it's just for the
credits is
story.
just witch. Oh, okay.
Yeah, if you watch it with like subtitles and stuff or like closed captioning, it's literally like the witch. It says the witch, and I'm like, bro, spoiler,
well, I mean,
asshole.
I mean, like
Everything's a
spoiler.
spoiler. I looked at the fucking
This
cover.
movie's based on a story that's older than your fucking entire genealogy. Okay.
Don't give me a fucking heads up with the spoiler.
Anyway, yeah, and so the witch she's just, God, she's just a whole nother level of creepy, like instantly. So they are brought in to this dining room that has just a massive feast prepared, and
Are you expecting guests?
yeah, and Gretel's just like, we should really, like, we'll fuck off. Like, you're obviously expecting people because this is like enough food to feed
An
3
army.
villages. Yeah, like, and she's like, no, I'm good. I don't really care for people. And you're just like, oh, okay. And then finally, she just kind of, hunger gets the best of her. She sees a little pie, and she's just like, I'm gonna
It's like a mince
go
pie.
to town on this pie. Yeah, she's like, and the witch is just like, yeah, I got a room prepared for you and everything. And they're just like, all right, yeah, we'll just kind of, accept what you're giving us for right now. But like Gretel is guarded.
Gretel don't play that shit. Gretel's
Yeah.
like, listen, nobody rides for free. We eat, we work. And the witch is like, well, I never thought of that. I guess.
Yeah, so she, the same offer they made the hunter, and like the same thing. She's like, I'll clean, I'll turn down beds, like whatever. He can learn how to chop down wood. This is a skill that is very important back then, apparently. And then, yeah, so they're just kind of there for a moment. And we're just like, okay, we're accepting this. Okay. Interesting. I'm trying to remember what exactly happens. Like, so she starts cleaning.
So
it's so fucking creepy. And
so here's the thing. Here's the part of the movie where I think people may start to wane on it a little bit. Personally, I enjoyed it because it turns into like everything slows down, like to a crawl. And if you're not engaged or not liking what you're seeing so far, these next 25 minutes are going to put you to the test, right? Because it's basically this trust system that's kind of being cultivated where Greta is just getting these like drip fed this, and the witch is kind of checking her, being like, you got the fucking force. Let me try to awaken that in you. Let me see if you got what it fucking takes. And then Gretel's here, like she's having images and visions and shit. She's having these real dreams that are kind of like speaking to her. They're very lifelike. Dreams of leaving her brother in the woods and kind of like just dropping him off because he's a burden. And this is my interpretation, was the witch was pushing that on her. Like, hey, I know that you've had this feeling. You're angry. Lash out in anger. You know what I mean? And she's just like, no.
Well, I don't know if that was all the witch, because you gotta remember the most beautiful girl shows up, and in one of the dreams, and kind of like leads her, and it's super creepy because she's like hiding behind the fucking bed frame.
Mm-hmm.
And Gretel's just like, oh God, what the fuck? Where'd you come from, you fucking pink wearing girl? What the fuck? And she follows her down, and she sees some shit in this room, and you're just like, oh, where's that room? Foreshadowing. And then and I interpreted it more as that the most beautiful girl was the one kind of pushing more of the stuff, and that the witch was aware of it, because I don't know if the witch would have pushed certain images so soon on her of like, this is where
possibly it could have been
gonna go down,
like a three-way dance of like they're all kind of, they can all sense that Gretel's got the fucking juice, so they're just kind of like pitting her against, almost like a tug of war of like, hey, I want you to see this, and she's like, well, I want to see what you got. And then the girl, the beautiful girl, is just like, hey, check this out. You don't sleep on this, because this witch, man, she ain't what you think, but she's exactly what you think, So I think that was kind of that balancing act, and I think Hansel gets kind of left out of that a little bit. He has some kind of cool, creepy parts where he's learning how to like sharpen the axe and stuff, And the witch is like, do it like this. And he's just like, okay. And then there's these like, what do you call it? The one, the axes or the saws?
grinder.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
the huge
Yeah,
serrated ones that are 2 mans, and she's like, sharpen them. And he's just like sharpening those, but almost like in this.
Well, that's later though. Like,
yeah,
he just starts with the axe, and then he looks at the shed, and she just kind of like lets him look at the shed, almost like she's definitely pumping stuff into Hansel's head.
Yeah,
and there's a great scene where she like just sniffs above him, and you're just like, oh, that's super creepy.
Oh yeah,
she's totally gonna eat him,
eat his ass up.
Yeah.
Not like that, but like that,
Yeah, and then in the meanwhile, we have like these scenes where they're like learning to play chess, and you're just like, oh, that's interesting that she would like teach them chess and everything, and they're very obviously not very good at it or whatever. And then they just keep eating and all this abundance and everything. And at some point, Gretel's just like, we got to get out of here. Like, this is, again, no one rides for free. There's something wrong with this place. Like, she's feeling. She's like, there's something fucking wrong with this place and wrong with her.
Yeah, she's doing the whole story-wise fattening them up. But it's not so much the fattening to eat them to me. I kind of took it more as like it's kind of metaphorical. Like I just keep you content. I keep you full. You don't challenge me. You don't push back. You don't
exactly. Yeah.
You don't struggle if I keep you like kind of subdued in what you think is your gluttony and your happiness and all that stuff. So you're like, okay. And plus they're children, so they're not really keen to that. But Gretel's just so fucking street sometimes in that mentality. Where it's just kind of, she falls for it for a second, but then she snaps back. And I kind of like that part. And I like the way that's kind of presented. And when Gretel challenges it, she's just like, hey, you can send me to town to get some produce and stuff. And I can go, I'm really good at this and that. And I'll fucking stretch a penny. And the witch is like, nah, I'm good. And then you're like, okay. So she's kind of like poking around for clues. She's cleaning. And she's kind of like, I don't want to say she's snooping, but she's just really getting aware of her surroundings. She's kind of coming out of the haze of, hey, man, we got a great place to sleep and we're eating like crazy. But there's something more. Yeah,
and then in this scene, Hansel, he pushes back. He's like, no, why do you always got to do that? Why you got to look for like the shit? Just let this be what it is. It's good. We got stuff, know? Like, and then Gretel's just like, she's not our mom. And he's like, I know, but like, you won't let us go back to mom. So let's just enjoy what we have because we got nothing else,
Yeah. He wants to stay asleep. He's loving the ride.
Yeah. And
he's like, you, great, America, wake up.
Wake up, America. What's great is like this conversation is mirrored later on where he's like, there's fucking something wrong. We got to go. And she's like, nah, we're good.
Yeah, because she's starting to get the fucking tingles.
Yeah, so then shortly after this, then the witch, like, I don't know, she does some weird hand jazz stuff. She's like, here, I got this thing of a slave, or what is it called? Yeah, I don't know. It's basically like petroleum jelly.
Yeah, it's from like, wasn't it like the saps from the trees, and she starts rubbing it on her hands?
Yeah.
Solve from the trees? Yeah,
no, it's like it said like slave almost, or like Slav. I don't know, something similar to that. But I'm just gonna call it Vaseline. So she gets the Vaseline, and she's like has what's obviously kind of to represent like a witch's broom without the like,
without being so cliche.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, cartoony.
Yeah, it's more like a giant wizard's, stick, essentially, or whatever. Wand? There we go.
Everybody's like, what?
Stick. Wizard stick. Are you talking about penises? Harry Potter don't have no dick. We all know that.
Ooh.
Ooh. And then so Gretel, practices, and she gets the mojo going. And then she starts to like feel the power, and she's like making a tree bend down to her to like shake her fucking hand, and she's just like, yeah, this is cool, And the witch starts showing her more and more stuff, and she's like, okay. But around this time, that's when Hansel's like, something's wrong. Something's like wrong with my fucking head. I need to get out of here. Like, let's get out of here. Let's go back to mom. This woman's not our mom, okay? Let's go back to mom. And Gretel's like, fuck you. I'm losing my shit. You're done. All right. She's like, you want to go back to your fucking mom? Here, go. And she just takes him outside and is just like, it's all red and fucking just very spooky out. And she's just like, there you fucking
that's what it said in the script. It said the scene's spooky AF.
It's very spooky, fog machine, and red.
There's a lot of boogity boogity in this scene.
It's very boogity boogity, you know.
The fucking production is looking at it like, what? What do I do with that?
What do I do with that? I don't know, but it seems like it's a graveyard smash.
Listen,
and he's just like, don't do
it. Was a
monster
AF. All right. If I show up on the set and this shit ain't scary AF, you're done. He's like, what does that mean?
They're just like red with fog. He's just like, fucking, you killed it, guys. They're like, oh, thank God, because we really had nothing.
Oz Perkins shows up. He's like, all right, guys, we're ready to shoot. Holy shit. I just doo-dooed myself. That's scary AF.
I just doo-dooed and cummed. It was like someone hit my prostate perfectly, and it was just like, boop.
Everybody's like, hey, we still got like HR, right? You can't say that.
He's like, nah, we're in the woods. I can say whatever. They're like, that's not how anything works. He's like, yeah, we're in the woods.
We're in Ireland right now. Fuck you.
Fuck you. There are no rules. This is a tax haven. So
the witch has a great line when she's teaching the force to fucking Gretel with the wand or the stick, the broom.
The witch's sticky broom.
The witch's walking aid or whatever.
Sticky broom. They got sticky hands. The broom's sticky.
I can't quote it verbatim. She's like, you can hear things and they can like. She's like, tell it what to do. She's like, ask it to move. She's like, ask it to move. She's like, don't tell it to move. And she tells the fucking stick what to do, and the shit snaps up. And the witch is like, oh shit. Okay, I see you, playa. And Gretel's like, for show. And then next thing.
She's just like, yeah, you're a fast fucking learner.
Yeah, man. She took a sip from the chalice of gods.
Yeah, I do want to touch upon that because it's really hard to like. Their dialogue does have a old-fashioned feel to it, but it's just so good. It's really hard to just like quote it because you're just like, oh man, they're like sing-songy and
it's
rhymey,
very in the moment
just,
too. Like
it's just like
they're conscious of staying like that. I think there's only one time. I think it was Hansel. He like when he finally chops down a tree. And he's trying to chop down these massive trees. I'm like, hey, dickhead, get a small one. Like, get one that's your size, you idiot. And he finally does.
Like, you're like 7. Why are you constantly trying to chop down
trees? I get it. He wants to be a big man on campus. I get it. And then he kind of chops one down. He's like, nice. And I was like, was it 69 nice? Or is this a meme right now? And then that's the only time. And if now that we're talking about the delivery, there's only... I can maybe count on one hand. There's some dialogue exchanging. I really wish they would have done a couple more takes with because I don't think it's emphasized enough on the kids. Like I think they deliver the line, it comes off flat, or I'm like, hey, that's a pretty good line, and there's a lot of poignancy to what you're saying, but there's no emotion behind it. I feel like you just forgot your fucking line, and they fed it to you off camera, and you just recited it back like you parroted it. There's a couple of those, and I think it's just when you're granted it's mostly from Hansel's character. Yeah. And I think there's a couple of times Gretel does it when I feel like she's just trying to hammer it. So I can't tell if it's editing or they took the fucking worst out of the goddamn shots. I was like, why did you take that fucking cut? That was awful. Like,
I mean, for me, I took that as them trying to keep her very still kid-like as well, you know?
No, it's not like it's more how she delivers the line. It's almost like, hey, the witch took the stick over there and I made it move. And I'm like, whoa, are we dubbing anime right now? What the fuck was that? Go back, try it again. And they're like, no, we kept it. And I was like, no, what? There was only a couple of times I felt that. I was like, that's a wee bit cringy.
I don't know. I didn't have those moments. That might be maybe you were more conscious of it or whatever, but I really didn't have any problems. I mean, yeah, Hansel for sure. There were some things where you're like, okay, yeah, you know, he definitely
He makes it up in
didn't
some
kill it on
scenes.
that, but it was just like, but again, he's a real boy. So
No, listen, it's not attacking the character he's playing. I get it. He's a child. This is his first fucking go. They probably shot 1,000 fucking scenes with him doing fucking shit up, and it for what he did, it was fine. Like I said, he's not abysmal. He's not cringeworthy where you just turn the fucking movie off. Go fuck it. You've spoken too many times. There's only, like I said, there's only a couple times where I was just like, man, they gotta really. Hey, hope they fucking got a couple more takes of that. Nope, you went all right. But then there's a couple times where I'm like, hey, he did really good. It's so up and down sometimes for me, but it's very, like I said, it's very few and it's very far between. But other than that, yes, I think the dialogue, and the vocabulary, and the verbiage was all really appropriate. It didn't feel out of place at all.
Yeah, I mean, I think most people watching it will probably agree with me that it was just it was good all around.
It's like, listen, man, I watched The Witch and I love that movie, and if you're not paying attention, you have no fucking clue what anyone's saying with subtitles. You're gonna be like, is this English? I know English. I don't know what they're saying. I'm very scared.
Not to be confused with The Witch in this movie, obviously.
No, this movie just called Witch with the double V's.
The double V's?
Yeah, the two V's decide.
Bitch.
No, it's a W, but they use
Vich.
Yeah, that's wrong.
I mean, I get half credit, right?
2015's The Witch. How does that help?
With the double V's.
Double V's, horror drama.
So Hansel's been kicked out, and Gretel goes back to sleep, and she wakes up and she's like, I hoped it was a dream. That was a nightmare. That didn't actually kick my brother out. And that's where she's like, it was something I thought about, but I never thought I would actually kind of do, because even though, and we should probably have mentioned this, they have this thing where they put their heads together and one of them snorts like a pig. They even have like a scene with the mom where she does it, but it comes off a little psycho, like, I'm going to fucking eat you.
Well, yeah, the mom is already labeled as a little loony, but yeah, when the brother and sister do it, it's very family, it's very cute. It's like their little thing. They, instead of giving daps and shit and fucking high fives, they do the little pig snorty Eskimo kisses shit. Yeah. Inuits, I'm sorry. Butterfly kisses?
Just nose kisses, man. It's just nose kisses now.
That's
like
not.
We're living in a different era. Yeah, well, I mean, living in a different era.
Take your hippie racist shit out of here. Eskimo kisses, fuck
you.
You
fucking old man.
You boomer fuck.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if there's a real big blowback on Eskimo kisses. If
Dude, stop it. You're just dropping it.
Dude, I mean, fuck you. You already said it like 5 times.
You said it like 6. You made it worse.
Wow, I did not. But whatever. Anyway, so God, now I don't even remember where I was going with it because you derailed it by yelling.
You said the family thing that they do is they do the little pig snorts and they rub their.
Yeah. So, well, yeah. The point is like, so even though, yeah, her brother's a bit of a chore, that she's always been responsible for him, and the witch is playing off of that. The witch is like, don't you want to be like free of him? Be
Strike
free,
me down, become stronger.
And it's not. And Gretel's just like, like. It's one of those things where it's like someone on the outside is like, yeah, he's a burden to you. And you might complain and be like, oh, this is difficult and stuff. But to you, you're like, no, that's still my family. They might be a burden at times, but it's like, it's one I'm willing to bear type of thing. And that's something like the witch, for reasons we'll touch on later, does not get. So, but yeah, so now she's asked the witch for some like sleep medication. She's like, and the witch is like, oh, I'm sure he'll come back. It's fine, whatever. And she's like, oh, okay, I'll take this sleep medication. And then she just throws it all up in her chamber pot, which is very full. I'm like, come on, you're the housemaid person. You're supposed to be emptying that shit out every night.
Housemaid person?
I don't know.
That's why she's not cleaning it up nicely. You treat her like that with those names.
Well, I mean, she's like, I'll turn down. Like, she didn't really seem like she was doing. She's like dusting weird things, and that's just like.
Well, she's snooping. That's what I took it as, because from the beautiful child, she's kind of like, hey, bro, shit ain't how you think it is, sis. You better pay attention. She's like, ooh, and then she stumbles across that little doorway thing. She's like, go get that chamois and add a second wax to fucking to my whip.
Oh yeah, because she sees like one that's like full of blood, and the witch is just like, "Oh, is that what drank enough?" And I was just like, "Drank enough? What the fuck?"
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so then that she uses that night to go down, and she sees that that Hansel is there. He's like staring in a corner, very Blair Witchy. She can't get him to like snap out of it, and then all of a sudden, like blood starts pouring down a drain, and she's like, "Oh shit!" She kind of hides for a minute, and then this beautiful woman appears and starts doing some food preparation. Is the best way I could describe it.
No, dude, she's taking a bunch of entrails and organs and guts and shit.
And what does she do with it, Kevin?
She slaps it on this big butchered looking table.
Uh-huh.
It's the witch in her true form.
Yeah.
She's hot to trot, and
very tattooed up, you know.
Yeah, real
down with the Satan.
I thought you were gonna say down with the sickness.
Oh, well, that too.
Clearly, she's disturbed. LOL. It's a joke.
They're like, we fucking get it.
I don't though, but I will Google.
And then she grabs a bloated child's arm.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's just real. Like, is this that thing from Saul? And she's like, no, this is how I cook the vittles.
Yeah. And that's why I said food preparation. I didn't say what was going into the preparation, but she's making food. So they've been eating intro. I do, here's the thing, Kevin. And scenes like
it looked delicious.
No, it looked disgusting and CG-ish. But no, what I was gonna say is that Gretel has been searching for this answer of where's the animals, where's this food coming from, over and over and over, like where is it? And so we're given the answer, and this is my only hang up with this entire movie, I will say. Mm-hmm. So she's like, oh, I just dump out these entrails, add a kid's arm, and then voila, we feast. I use my magic, change what it looks like. Disgusting food is now yummy food. Fine. Where did she get all the entrails for like the 7 days that they're fucking there already? Like,
hey man, like, okay, listen. So the room that they keep going into is basically it's the grindhouse, right? It's the kitchen, it's the kid oven,
it's the kill room.
Yeah, it's the kill room. They got the kill floor, the pigs get smushed. So it's magic, and you don't know. You're not really shown how much vats of cooking she got put away. You don't really know her importing exporting ratio of children guts, so you're just kind of like, all right, she's how often is she killing these kids? You get a good idea towards the end, but there's no there's no best used by fucking date on any of this shit. So
which
you're just
I get, but it's still like she feeds them a lot,
Okay, here's the thing. I think you're being just a tad too picky.
Hey man, I mean, you attacked that kid's performance, so
no,
I'm
dude,
no. I'm allowed on this one because there's a lot of details going into this scene of explaining everything.
Here's where you pump the brakes.
And I feel like there was more that needed
I'm breaking the balls of the director where he should have took a better take and demanded more because it's a first-time kid. And granted, he probably is like, dude, I couldn't take anymore. This kid can only work fucking 4 hours a day. I said, fuck it. And I was like, hey, I feel you. On yours is just like a narrative thing where it's just like, at the time of the movie, I feel it's very slow, and I think it was time for you as the viewer to get rewarded with some like a pop. It was time to pop you.
I agree. I just feel like there was too much attention brought to where's this food coming from, and that the answer, while very like shock.
Well, that's the
and I like the shock, but I was still in it. And again, I said there was just me. That I was just like, yeah, but where'd that shit come from? It just made me go,
bro. Yeah, you're attacking a detail that has magic involved.
Hey, I'm not attacking it.
But
that aspect of the magic is explained. I'm just saying it made me personally go.
No, yeah, but Johnny movie viewers like, oh, fucking finally something happened.
No one is going to fucking think that, but me. I totally understand that. I'm just saying, like. I was like, okay, yeah, that's where the food's come from. Yeah, it's fucking gross, but where'd that come from? That was my first and only thought while
under
watching
the table. You fuck.
Yeah, but how'd you put it under the table? What went into it?
Like magic, dickhead. This whole place is magic.
So she runs away, and the witch is just like, "All right, I'm on to you, girl."
Verbatim.
I know. Yeah, but in a much better Borg Queen type delivery. And so the next day, the witch has been summoned to the woods. She's like, "It's not often that I go out, but I'm going to go out." She's like, prepare some tea and something for me to eat when I get back. And so Gretel's just like, "All right,
Don't
cool."
fuck it up. Maybe some Earl Grey.
Maybe some Earl Grey with some poison in it.
Yeah. Gretel's gonna be like, "I'm about to sack up, man. I'm gonna knock this bitch out with that good juice, and we're gonna fucking bolt the fuck out of here."
Yeah, because she's like, "Oh, I earmarked the page of where the sleeping potion was." And so the witch goes out, and I don't fully understand what she vomited out into the woods. I didn't know if that was like some sort of I don't know, demon baby or something. Did you have any guesses or thoughts on that? Like she digs a hole and she pukes in it, and it was obvious that there was something that she was like getting out or giving back or had to get
that's what the thing is. Like, I didn't know if it was
like
just
to be continued.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think it was more of like a cycle thing, like you said, like because the whole theme is giving back, right? Like the whole no one writes for free, and maybe this is like a portion of that because she always has to take something. So I don't know if she had some other beautiful child type scenario where she was burdened with something. I wasn't too clear of what she had to remove or using her powers because she went young again. Did that affect her? You know what I mean? So I was just like, I don't really get it. It's kind of gnarly. It's kind of cool. I'll let it go. We'll let that play. And I was.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't bothered by it. I thought it was cool. I thought it was like, all right, cool. I mean, and it seemed like it was something important, but that not something that they were like, well, we're not going to sit here and explain this to you. Like, it's kind of just
right.
Maybe something for people that know the original story were like, oh, that's that or something. And maybe I just didn't know that. I don't know. But so, yeah. And so Gretel's prepared the sleeping tea. The witch returns, feeling refreshed from a forest vomit. Also, we forgot to mention the part where Hansel finds all the kids' shoes in the trees, like a lot of kids' shoes in the trees.
Yeah, dude, I thought he was like downtown.
Yeah,
he was at Boyle Heights or something.
He's just like, it's fucking.
He's like, this is a tough ass hood.
Gentrification's coming, everybody.
Yeah.
Welcome to New LA. So, yeah, and that's around the time when he was like, we got to get the fuck out of here. There's a lot of shoes, a lot of free shoes up in those trees.
None of them good.
Yeah, she's just like, fuck you. Free shoes for everyone. But yeah, so the witch drinks the tea and eats what we now know as guts, and she's just kind of like,
not Nickelodeon guts, but
like,
intros from children slaughtered.
Yeah, and she's like, good, and she's talking to Gretel. She's like, that like you're about to like peak and become your own. But you will have a poison that will bring you down, but you will crave that poison. And maybe that's what it was, is that like kids, like it's her poison.
That's her weak spot, man.
And so it makes her sick, but she can't stop doing it.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense now.
Yeah. Thinking about it, I was like, oh yeah, maybe that's what it is. And so, yeah, she's talking about how it's like, she just does it more and more, like her poison or whatever.
Everybody's got their vices, man. Catch me with a Dr. Pepper. You will.
You will. And so she's just like, you're going to have your poison. And she's like, but good try with the sleeping thing. I don't understand why you'd want me to put me to sleep. And she's like, where's my fucking brother? And that's when they're just like, fucking game's over. We're calling everything out.
Big dicks on the table. What's up now, bitch? Let's go.
Big witch wands, laying them down, smacking each other across the face with them.
You want some? Come get some.
And then so Gretel's just like, yeah, well, where's my brother? I'm not down this shit no more. I want my brother. We're gonna go. Like, we'll just fuck off. And she's just like, nah. Like, you're on a journey. You're connected. And then this is the part where I think, is it here or is it when she's down in the kill room that she tells her story? I think it's at the table, right? The dinner table.
It's at the dinner table because
Yeah.
she does the whole like monologue, and
Yeah, she's like, how, we're connected. How else would you have known my story? And she's like, I never, how's that your story? She's like, oh, it's my story. I'm the fucking beautiful girl's mom.
it's
And
your
it's like,
favorite story,
oh,
Gretel.
yeah. And so now we get this like
Be-
remix version of the story.
From a different perspective, you say.
Yeah. And the mom's just like, that little girl took everything from me. She took my husband. It shows the dad fucking deep throating the metal ore again and dying.
Mm-hmm.
And then just that she's just like, you gotta, she's like, I thought it would be over when I gave her back to the darkness, but then I kept seeing her. She was like this shadow and this memory that wouldn't fade. And she was like, I can offer you power. You just have to be brave enough to like cross the threshold into it, which maybe that's what the gate was. It was the threshold and they crossed it. Oh,
Dude,
yeah.
I think
That's totally what it is.
it could be whatever you want it to be. There's so much symbolism, and that's like the best part of the movie. It doesn't hold your hand. If you want it to be one, you interpret it one way from the story, and you can do that. You can have it match up a little bit to kind of how you want it to be. Of course, they guide you for like the symbolism, but it's not like our previous movie or the 2 movies ago, where they're just like, "Hey, is this on the fucking nose?
Is this parenting done right?
Is this capitalism?"
Some sort of private sector
started
their own neighborhood or something. I don't understand it, but we're gonna let it ride. But yeah, so this is where we see her take her children in a very, very quick manner into their house, and she's like, and then I ate my children, and she was like, I ate them so fast I didn't even chew. And I was like, Jesus Christ.
So it's so cool the way she like presents it. You're like, that's dope. When in the middle of this other perspective from the other story, she has this cool black ring that kind of guides you through that transition. I was like, fuck, man, that's so smooth. Like if any other movie had done it, it'd have been so cliche, but the way they use it as a beacon to kind of switch over, I was like, fuck.
Well, it's because
I like that.
They didn't dangle the ring in front of you the whole time. And in the other movie would have been like, look at the fucking ring.
Are you looking?
Follow it. You're just like, okay. Instead, it was just like, boom, boom. And you're like, oh, dope.
Yeah.
I really loved how when she's eating her kids, the smoke of the house turned red.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, so dope. Just imagine being the neighbors. You're just like, what the fuck's going on in their house? First, the guy dies, and I don't want to say he deep-throated some fucking steel ore, but he totally did. He had that crazy fucking girl that was killing horses and shit, and now there's red smoke. We gotta move. This is a bad neighborhood.
She's a beautiful child, though.
She was so beautiful, though. Did you see the pink? Oh, so beautiful. Weird hat, though. Weird hats all around. And then she's just like, yeah, then I went to kind of like live in the woods. I found a place for me and my daughter that is just talking to me via the crazies, I'll say.
Yeah, the crazies do it again.
The crazy. And she's like, I built us a perfect house, and I feasted on every fucking kid that came by until you and your brother ruined it, goddamn it.
Yeah.
Not really, but,
Well, she's cutting that monologue, and she, like, pulls this little blonde braid out of her mouth with a bow on it.
Oh, yeah, that's when she was just like...
Yeah, you're just like, damn, you really did eat those kids.
Yeah, well, it was the food she ate. She, put it in her mouth and then pulled out the braid, and that's when she was just like, yeah, motherfucker, we know. We both know.
We eat kids up in here. Y'all kids, you on the menu.
It was a really long braid, too. I was like...
Yeah, it was, like, gross. Like, at first I was just like, I thought it was going to be, like, a little hair, or she's going to spit out some kid fingernails, or something real but I was just like...
any amount of hair is gross. The fact that it was, like, 5 feet of hair, I was like, God damn.
It was literally, like, one pigtail braid with a bow.
Yeah, I was just like...
Full bow.
And then they're just like, she just puts it down. It's not slobbery or anything. I was just like, oh, even more repulsive. Ugh. You have dry hair in your mouth? Oh, God.
But then I was like, hey, witch, what that mouth do, girl?
She's like, you don't even want to know.
Maybe I do.
I won't chew.
Oh, I like it. Let's get you another.
You
ring
won't
on
get
finger.
You won't get it back though. She's like, I do have one. I use it for transitions and stories.
Yeah, baby, you could munch my little child.
She's like, I'm over that. Like my vices are just eating kids. You're like, you can eat some baby batter.
Yeah, go back to the Hot Topic version.
Hot Topic version.
Where you got the black hair and the fucking Marilyn Manson tats. I love it.
Jesus.
The beautiful people. The beautiful people.
They're like, hey man, that's when we were in our prime. All right. Sales have never been as good as they were then.
Are you talking about
we got a logo change and we're just really appealing to the urban youth, okay?
You got a TV shirt?
You want the anime? Get it? Like the month of May. Fucking come on down to your local Hot Topic.
Did they use that? That's pretty good.
Yeah, no, it's not. Don't give me. It's horrible, but yeah, they use it.
Yeah, but you remembered it, so it won.
I mean, only because someone recently told me it, but it's fine.
And you were just like, fuck, that's brilliant. I hate that.
Well, then you brought up Hot Topic. What else was I going to bring that up? It just perfectly, the stars aligned, and I was just
people
like...
with straight black hair and tattoos that like the rock music, dude. World doesn't know what to do
anymore. Anyway.
Oh, fuck.
So... after story time's over, Gretel conks out, and then she wakes up in the kill room, her wrists stapled.
Wait a minute. Didn't she try to get her brother out of the kill room and it's filling up with the gelatinous goo? Or did you already say that part?
No, that was the part. That was when the witch was the gelatinous goo.
Ah, yeah, okay.
You turned, yeah. First you were like, oh, that's blood, and then it was just like, oh, that's a person.
Oh,
she is smoking hot.
Oh, daddy like. Oh wait,
yeah. Which version of the witch are you having deep throat you?
I just told you
the old one.
Yeah, well, if she's got the time, but I'm talking about the Hot Topic version.
Oh, okay. That makes more sense now. I just thought it was like a weird transition that you were like going. Okay, I didn't realize you were dubbing her the Hot Topic version.
What the fuck else would
she seemed more like single mom, but the kid didn't make it past 5, and she's living with the burden.
What the fuck is that? What version is that?
Hey man, that's the version. I mean,
did you ever see a female on the streets going, "Hey, you look like a kid, probably conked out at 5, but you're still getting through, but you like a little rock music, maybe the Alice Cooper, perhaps?"
He's like, "Yeah, that describes me perfectly, actually."
Very good.
Anyway, let's get back to the kill room. Gretel has been given what I can only describe as her ceremonial witch transition clothing.
Mm-hmm.
Very ill-fitting, but I like the look of it. And her wrists are
very seance-y.
Yeah, her wrists are stapled to the table, like hammered in, to where she cannot free herself. And now we are dealing with the young witch with some of the old witch's voiceover, and it was very clear the younger witch was not as good of an actress, but that was fine. And she's like, I'm going to make your brother cook himself.
Yeah, metal as fuck. He's crawling into the oven.
Yeah, it was very like a ring type ladder. He's gonna crawl up the ladder. I got this long stick to undo the lock because it's hot, and then he's just gonna like cook himself.
The stick was to poke him to make sure he was done.
Yeah, you done?
Check him for freshness.
Yeah. And then so Gretel's just like, no, this is bullshit. I'm not down with this shit. She puts the stick down, and then Gretel very smartly had some petroleum jelly in her hair and rubs it on her hands, on what hand she can reach, and starts talking to that stick like nobody else. And she's just like, fucking come on, stick, I'm your new master.
Yeah, the stick's like, I got you, sis.
Yeah. And I don't think we need to spoil the whole sequence, but yeah, essentially she wins, she destroys the witch, she saves her brother, and you think, oh, okay, now they're going to journey to that town together. No, because Gretel learned she's got to, especially now, she's got to go venture on her own. She cannot, her brother is her weakness, as the witch said, the brother is her poison, and she's going to, get hurt keeping him around. And so... And I love this part because she's sending him off. She's like, the part of me that you have taken, I have given you freely. You never took it. It was mine to give, and I gave it to you because I love you, and you will always be my brother. And he's just kind of like, what is going on?
Yeah, this I think I like this part. I watched it twice just to make sure that what we're trying to do here. She whispers to the horse and shit, and she's like, "Where's he going to take me, Gretel?" And he's like, "He's got you, dog. He's going to take you to town, and I know your journey is to go fuck shit up with an axe. So maybe we'll see you down the line, and you're just chopping assholes' heads off with axes. It's going to be really it."
Do you want to hear my guess though? Because this is Brothers Grimm, and they keep saying the big bad world, and they keep saying that the woodsmans are the ones with the axe, and that's the woodsman is the one that cuts open the big bad wolf and Little Red Riding Hood. And so I was like, oh shit, is he the woodsman? That'd be dope if it was like that.
I could see that. I thought of that.
That's what
too.
I thought they were alluding to. Without being like annoying with it. But
exactly, like, hey, here's something else, right? Right.
Yeah, right. I thought it was cool because even if they don't ever do it, it was still just like a nice nuance of this world, this story. I don't need them to particularly be like, all right, we're doing a sequel.
It's like, it's like a kind of a slight crossover of familiar things.
Yeah.
If you want it to be. And that's like a lot of it in the interpretation. And she sends him off because he already has this like relationship with this weapon, this tool. And they don't let that go. That's kind of like his character centerpiece.
Yeah.
And then she starts listening to the voices again, and all these children just start coming out of the woods and shit. Like, and you're just like, hey, these are the kids that got munched up, and their souls can kind of go back into the fucking ether, and they're not sitting in some witch's colon and shit.
And she even says, like, with the witch gone, they're not afraid to move on.
Yeah.
Before that, like, that's how much power she had over them, is they were too afraid to move on to the next, the afterlife. And
she got 8. She shit them out in the woods, and now they can fucking be free.
Yeah.
But I like the way she presents that information, the way that because it's bookended by her narration again, and she's just kind of stating it for everyone. She's like, yep, that shit happened. That shit was real. I got my bro Cephas over here. I got the kids. They running loose. But you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to dig up a system of this shit. And next time you see me, I be fucking it up witch style. Ho! And then credits. And you're just like, oh, it's okay. I get it.
Well, and what was interesting about Hansel is she said she'll take you where you'll be safe. And he actually ends up going back home. And you see the axe that the mom put in the table is still there. And that he rips it out of the table, and like it also shows like his like strength has grown because he wasn't able to do that before. And I was like,
he wasn't able to. He couldn't swing his dick in the wind, let alone fucking grab the little axe that he first got.
He was like, I remember he was taking a shit in the woods.
I love that part. He's like,
he fucking judges. He's like, that's what you get for eating rabbit.
He's like, I don't give a. I don't. He was like, we didn't have any hot sauce. It tastes so earthy. It's called like, gamey. It's gamey. He's like, I know. He's like, Gretel, hold my hand.
And Gretel's just like, well, the more you eat, the more you fucking shit in the woods. And he's just like,
he's like, I get it.
Was I supposed to eat the bones? And the worst part coming out. And she's like, you eat the fucking bones? He's just like,
why wouldn't I?
Don't talk. One's fucking peeking. This is why it's so annoying. I have ripped my colon.
I was like, what'd that boy eat?
Yeah. Like, it's a kind of I will say it's like a funny long scene where you're just like,
but it's so like subtle. It's not like he's sitting there grabbing his ankles and shit, squatting.
No, he just looks like a little kid sitting, holding his cheeks.
He got a Super Mario Brothers shit where he's just like, I should eat those mushrooms.
Yeah, I wanted to see them do it again after that, where they're both just like sitting by the creek, like, oh god, just shit it.
He's just like, I'm gonna lay face down in the water, just let the shit pop right out of my butt, and just have it float in the water. I'll be a turd with the shit. And she's like, what? She's like, what? The river just takes him away.
She's like, he's just face down. She's like, uh-oh.
He's like, what I like to do is people would go butt cheek down. I go butt cheek up, so the water just pulls the turd from my butt.
I really like to see it. Like, I want people to see it erupt from my sphincter hole.
She's like, Hansel, how many poops have you taken alone in the river? How many you got? He's like, that's not the answer.
Dead man shits, I mean, it really gives people a fucking fright. They're just like, what in the hell? And then you just boom, hit them with the butt erupt, and they're just like, oh my god,
splish splash, dead man shits.
Splash, I was taking a shit, violent as fuck as it was.
The horse is like, bro, what? You get off me with that shit.
We're just like, nah, you get off. Like, Yeah, that horse takes off the minute he's off.
Because
He's
he
just
heard
like,
dead
nah,
man
man.
shit. He's like, no, not today. I've had a good day. I ate some berries and shit. I found a piece of corn. It was awesome. This kid's gonna shit on me. I'm gonna fucking hoof him. I'm gonna hoof him right through his skull. Oh, he's got an axe now. Oh shit.
Oh, I'm out of here.
He'll eat a rabbit. He'll for sure eat me.
Oh, and the hunter also mentions like don't deviate from the path. You'll meet a lot of wolves, and they're not good for conversation. And I was like, oh yeah. So that again, I think that was like another like little.
Yeah, it's a nice. If it goes to if you're paying attention, you're gonna be like, oh, these characters are speaking and they're speaking about things I know. Very good. You know what I mean? Like if you're just like a jabroni watching it, you're gonna be like, oh god, this is boring. Oh god, why don't somebody kill something? You're like, what?
Yeah, I think this movie's probably like if like Fast and the Furious 6 is your favorite movie, you're probably better off skipping this.
No, and like the thing
and most
is,
movies in general. So
I think if they lean a lot on the horror presentation, I think horror fans might. It's kind of a lot to ask from them, but I think if you have the patience, I find it's very rewarding. You know, so I think you could if you like cinema, storytelling, something familiar that kind of challenges you, that gives you a great presentation of its story visually. It's an easy recommend. You know,
well, before we close out, do you want to talk about that final scene with her or no? You want to just like leave that for them to discover?
Yeah. I think it's kind of more of a nice kind of like, oh, okay, that's interesting, that's fun.
I really liked it. I was like,
yeah.
Oh
damn. Yeah, it's done well, and you kind of just it's very satisfying, I'll say.
Yeah.
I think the whole movie is very satisfying. Like I said, it's initially visually refreshing. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the look. And me nitpicking is literally just nitpicking. So I think.
Yeah, I only had one nit.
Yeah, and it's so minimal.
You got so far up my ass on that nit. I was just like, man, this fucking guy.
I had to let
this
you know.
fucking guy.
I said you're magic. Magic's.
Yeah, anytime, you were like fucking magic, asshole. Fucking.
You're like, you got
that's
me.
That's not magic. That's just fucking bad parenting. But fucking, you want
that's bad directing.
Magic.
I think the director was just like, listen.
Director's like, thank you, sir.
This is hour 52.
But like, you know, fuck you. That was the best take of that kid.
That's what I'm thinking. He was just like, listen, dude, I only got fuck it. We're going with it.
He's like, are you sure we can't recast him? Is it too late? They're like, no other kids flying to Ireland. He's just like, fuck.
I could just see him sitting in a video village staring at the monitor, just crushing his knuckles, and they're like, and everyone like, looks at him.
I need a rewrite. We're gonna have to write this kid out a lot of the story.
He just stands up. How do you feel about ADR?
He's like, we're gonna do a scene where you just don't talk. You get to say nice, and you get to chop down a tree, and that's like, dear Lord, just keep your mouth shut, okay?
We're gonna film a coffee can, and then we're just gonna throw your lines all over that coffee can.
We're gonna CG you. How do you feel about the full bodysuit with the little?
Fuck it. Remove the character.
You know what? Give me a little girl. Hansel's now a girl too.
Not like that, but like that. Oh God.
But like that.
About Brett Ratner. Everybody's just like, whoa.
Everyone's like, whoa.
Everybody's like, whoa, for 30 minutes. Whoa. The horse is like, what? What do you want me to do? You're saying whoa.
Whoa.
She's like, hey.
Yeah, I don't even know why you
joke.
Name drop him.
The horse is like, whoa.
Whoa. He did what? He said things that were, whoa. What movies did he make? They were all bad? Ooh.
They're putting in the credits. The guy just types "whoa" a bunch of times. I don't know why I did that.
Yeah, for me, I would say it's an easy movie to recommend. You know, it's not heavy on the horror. I do think it's more of the thriller fantasy, and I think it does that just exceptionally. well. It was like such an easy watch because of how enjoyable and how just visually interesting and beautiful it looked. And like I said, there's just this intensity to it from beginning to end where you're just like, okay, fuck. Yeah, it's not just like, I mean, the story because you've heard Hansel and Gretel before, but it's not that story. They do a really good job of being like, this is our fucking story, and this is how we're doing it.
Yeah, they make it their own, and it shows.
So is there anything else you want to end with, Kevin? Otherwise, you feel free to take us home.
No, I'm all good. I appreciate everybody listening. If you made it this far, congratulations. We're going to keep doing these. If you follow us on your social media outlets, the Twitters, the Instagrams, whichever you want. If you dug it, tell your friends. We appreciate that. And yeah, we'll keep doing this until we don't, I guess, right?
Exactly.
Real mysterious.
Thanks for listening.
See you next time.
We'll talk to you next time.
Will we?
Whatever.